Hey guys, here's number one. So number one is, it says to simplify this expression, 4x to the fifth over 8x. So once again, if it helps you, you can rewrite it so it's a little bit bigger. And then remember, draw your windows. Okay, and then you notice that we have a 4 and 8 on the top and bottom here. So I'm going to divide both of these by 4. So that I can go ahead and reduce that. Now some of you, if you don't see that as 4, but you definitely see that they're even, and divide by 2, you'll notice that you'll just divide by 2 again. And then you'll get a 1 here, and then 8 divided by 4 is 2. Now what we have left is x to the fifth over x. So you have x times x times x times x. And really, there's a multiplying here too, so it's there as well. And then times one more x on top. On the bottom, there's 1x. So if you think about it, x divided by another x, one pair will cancel out, becoming a 1. And there's nothing else you can do here, so I'm just going to rewrite it. Now you could write it with the 1 and then x to the fourth over 2, okay, or just leave the 1 invisible and it's technically x to the fourth over 2. So usually we leave the 1 invisible and the answer is x to the fourth over 2. Number 2, simplify this expression. Okay, so 20y to the second power over 6y to the third power. So again, I'm going to draw my windows. And when you have a fraction, always look for the opportunity to reduce the fraction. So I can see that they're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Alright, so I have 20 divided by 2 is 10, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Then I have times y, and then times y times y times y. Okay, so this time I have 2 pairs of y's that cancel out and become 1's. So it's 10 times 1 times 1, which is just 10. And here's 3 times y, it's just 3y. So we have a variable left on the bottom, which is fine. There's nothing more you can do with that, so that is completely simplified. Number 3. Okay, let me just give you an idea about this. It says convert the number negative 0.00004 into scientific notation. Alright, so how about this? You start off with negative 0.000, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. 04. And then let's just go ahead and get it on its way towards scientific notation. Let's start at times 10 to the 0. Now, since we've been talking about balancing out the scientific notation, this is not true scientific notation. So let's move the decimal. How far does it have to go? To the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since it went right 5, I got to balance it by subtracting 5. Now, what does that end up being? It becomes negative 4, because it's over to the right here. It's right here, times 10 to the negative fifth, which is b. Okay? Number 4, write p to the fourth to the third in its simplest form. So remember, if you look at it, it's actually distributing to the 3. It's called power to a power, so 3 times 4 is 12. So that's the correct answer. Now, why is it multiplying? Because think about it. Inside here, you have p to the fourth. That's p times p times p times p. But then it says to the third, so you need 3 groups of those. So here's one more group of 4 p's, and then one more. So that's a total of 3 groups. And if you look at it, it's really 3 times 4. It's 12. So that's why we multiply. Remember, when do we add the exponents? When you see something like this. P to the fourth times p to the third. That's 4 p's and 3 p's. Then you add those and you get p to the 7. So that's different, okay? That's why I put verses there. Number 5, simplify. Okay, so basically when you see this, you should be ready to draw your windows. So I'm going to write pretty tiny. Here's 1 window, 2 windows, and then 3 windows. On the bottom, 1 window, 2 window, 3 windows. Okay. So 18 and 15, I'm going to start with those so I don't forget about them. They're both divisible by 3. So this, I'm going to go ahead and cross that out because that's not simplified, that 18 and 15. So I always look for things to cancel out. So it's going to be 6 over 5. Let's see, can I cross out anything out? Nope, these all have 6 over 5, so I'm going to have to keep going. Ooh, I see some unhappy exponents. So m to the third, m to the negative third should go down here. I'm going to cross it out so I don't look at it again. Alright, and m to the negative fifth goes up here. and becomes positive 5. I almost put a negative, so I have to be careful. And then this n stays. It's happy where it is. It has an exponent of 1. And then n to the third you have down here. Okay, so if you're not sure what to do next, redraw your boxes or windows. Think of this as your house, okay? And then I can't do anything with the 6 and 5, so I'm just going to rewrite those. Now, m to the fifth, okay, is really m times m times m times m times m, okay? And then you got an n. Don't forget about that. Then down here I have 3 m's, m times m times m, and then 3 n's, n times n times n. Okay, can I cancel any of these because of the dividing? So n divided by m is 1, m divided by m is 1, m divided by m is 1. Okay, no more n's divide. N divided by n is 1. Okay, so what do we have left in the numerator? So I have a 6, and then I have an m and an m, which is just m squared. And then 5, and then no more m's, but an n squared. Okay, so 6, okay, now this is tricky because the n squared is on top instead of on the bottom, so that's not it. Here, okay, that looks right, but I'm always going to check the next one to make sure that I didn't, like, I'm not doing the wrong thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's definitely not going to be 8 m's up here, so I'm going to cross that out too and choose C. Number 6, okay, this says to write it in standard notation, so you just got to do what the 4 tells the decimal to do. So negative 7.3, you multiply it by 10, by 10, by 10, so it's going to move it 1 to the right, 2 to the right, 3 to the right, and 4 until you've used up all your 10s. So then once you've used up all your 10s, you don't need the 10s anymore, so fill in the zeros. Make sure you rewrite it with the new decimal, so location of the decimal. So negative 73300 and decimals there. So then if I go back from the right, go 1, 2, 3, and then comma, I can see it's negative 73,000. And notice like these are positive, so I know it's not A or C, because if you start off with a negative, you better stay a negative. So that's easy. Oh, now I have to choose between these two negative numbers. So it looks like this trap was that it would go to the left 4 instead of right 4, but this is definitely telling you to go right 4. So this would be the correct answer, D. And number 7, which expression is equivalent to 3 to the negative 2? Oh, this is the unhappy exponent. So I notice there's no negative here, but I know a common trap is that they'll try to put negatives as an answer, and it's not. So what happens? Think about this here. Think of your house. Okay, here's your house. And the 3 to the negative 2 is upstairs in its own window. Downstairs is a 1 when there's nothing there. So it's unhappy, so it wants to go downstairs. So it's going to join the 1 down here, and it's going to become positive. So in order to keep the downstairs, you got to make sure you put the 1 upstairs. So not this one. There's always a 1 upstairs. So it becomes 1 over 1 times 3 to the second power, which is 9. So 1 over 9 is what we're looking for. For numbers 8, 9, 10, 11, we'll talk about that in class. I'm actually going to have you guys use your calculator for this. Okay, so yeah. Well, okay, so now I know a lot of you, if you're doing it at home, you don't have a scientific calculator, so just if you do, go for it. So I need to do mode A3 for this calculator, so I'm going to multiply, or going to add these. So 1.2 plus, oops, no, I got ahead of myself. Let's try again, mode A3. 1.2 exp, and then negative 3, so I press 3 negative, so that's what that looks like. Then I'm going to add 5 exp 4, and then you should get 5. So when you see it like this in our calculator, you write 5 times 10. You don't see the times 10, but that's implied. Times 10, and then this becomes your exponent to the 4th. Okay? Now, I know we've done it longhand in class, but for now, I want you guys to also start using your calculators, okay? Because you're allowed to use your calculators on this test. So it's really easy, really, if you just know how to use your calculator. So mode A3. Now I'm going to go ahead and go down to number 10, and I'll go to 9 in a second. So 6.01 exp2. Then it says to divide, so I'm going to divide by 9 negative exp0. Okay, so you should get negative 6.68 times 10, which again, you don't see the times 10 part, but then this is your exponent to the first power. Number 9. See, right now we're just practicing putting it into our calculator, because that's what you're allowed to do on the test. So let's say we do mode 8, 3, and this time we put negative 4.3, so 4.3 negative, exp, and then 3. Then we're going to times 2.87 exp 5 equals negative 1.23 times 10 to the 9th is the correct answer. And then last but not least, 5.59 exp 8. Alright, oops, I forgot to make sure I put, well, I wonder if it does that. Hold on. Minus, no, see, that goes to that. Okay, so let's go into mode A3. 5.59 exp 8, okay, minus 3.22 exp 3 negative equals 5.59 times 10 to the 8th. Now, there should be a way to be like, well, I hope that's the correct answer. Like, there should be a way to check this answer, but for the sake of time, I just want to make sure you guys know how to do it in your calculator.